Good evening. Welcome to the East Brandywine Township Board of Supervisors regular session today, Thursday, June 15th. A recording device will be in use during this meeting. Can we open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberties and justice for all. All right, we're going to just deviate from the agenda for a split second. Under new business, that's 7B, we're going to allow our solicitor to present a point so that he can leave the meeting. Go ahead, Zach.
All right, thank you, George. The matter that I want to discuss with the board is there's a tax appeal that was filed on behalf of L&R Partnership. The question that we're posing to the board is whether the township should appear at the hearing on this tax appeal and essentially argue against the appealed amount that they're looking to have their property appraised for. Right now, each year the township collects about $670. There's really not a lot at stake for the township in this appeal based on the reassessment. It's a few $100s. I think that our general recommendation is that because the dollar amount at issue is so low, it is probably not worth the township's resources to participate in the appeal. The appeal will be defended by the Board of Assessment Appeals. And I believe that the school district has similarly decided not to participate in the appeal. So at this point, we're just looking for some sort of direction from the board, formal direction from the board as to whether or not you would like us to attend and participate in that appeal.
I believe, Kyle, we received a letter from them, right, didn't we, to this effect? That recommendation is to just drop the appeal?
Well, if I could paraphrase, yeah, got to hit the button on the machine.
It's not necessarily to drop the appeal, it's merely to stop our participation in it.
Okay.
Right, they're appealing the assessed valuation determined by the county assessor.
Okay.
And we, as a entity that levies a millage based on that assessment, could be a party. However, the recommendation is, because of the yield on the current assessment, any decline in the assessment is going to be a drop in the bucket compared to what we would spend on legal fees.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that if the appeal were successful, if the difference in the amount of money that the township would bring in off of the property would be $185 per year.
Any discussion?
Who's the parcel? I know it's 280, but
It is the L&R property
Yeah.
on North Guthriesville Road.
yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Any discussion?
No, I honestly, like I said, I thought that's what it was, and because I wasn't around last week, I didn't get, up to speed, so I'll recuse myself. You and Jason can vote. It's no big deal.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll make Jason, I'm going to make a motion then that we withdraw from this tax assessment appeal involving 280 North Guthriesville Road per our solicitor's recommendation.
I'll second.
And I'll
All in
abstain.
favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain, yeah.
Okay, actually, before we take the vote, because we've promoted this item before the public comment on agenda items, there's a motion to withdraw from this tax assessment appeal. At this point, it would be appropriate to ask if there is public comment.
Okay.
Anyone?
Anyone have any public comment on this item? No.
There we go. Thank you for that.
Okay. At this point, is there any public comment on agenda items?
I'm sorry, can we go back and take the vote?
Again, okay.
Yeah, please.
You want me to do the whole
So there was a motion
Right.
and a second.
Second.
And now it's appropriate to
Okay.
call the vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
And I abstain.
and one abstention.
Thank you for the Robert's Rules of Order detour there. Thank you.
That's not my bag. Okay, seeing no public comment on agenda items, let's move to the Board of Supervisor meeting minutes of July 1st, 2021. Any changes? Make a motion to move to approve those meeting minutes. All in favor? Or a second?
Aye.
I need a second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Don't need to approve the Planning Commission meetings, correct?
No, the Planning Commission appears on your agenda as the Planning Commission's report to you about their activities.
Okay. Treasurer's report. Questions, issues?
No questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, under reports, Luke, Township Manager's report.
Sure, I'm just going to read the first two items that are in my manager's report this evening. First up, pertaining to Act 65 of 2021. Recently, a law signed in by Governor Tom Wolf will impose new requirements on the township. The act amends the Pennsylvania Sunshine Law to require political subdivisions like us to make available in advance the proposed agenda for any governmental meeting. The act further limits the township from taking official action on any items not listed on the agenda unless it is an emergency situation or to consider matters that are de minimis in nature. The provisions of the act will take effect on August 29th, and the same rules will apply to all township committees, commissions, and boards. Secretary Tarasky and I attended a training yesterday and are making the following recommendations for the board. The board's current procedures for preparing an agenda include a draft distribution to the board on a Friday before a Thursday meeting, and then that draft agenda is posted online for public viewing at the close of business on the Monday before each Thursday meeting. This procedure is completely consistent with the revised Sunshine Law rules in Act 65. However, I would like to take this opportunity just to draw the board's attention to the fact that now when we anticipate having a conversation or taking a vote on a matter, we need to make sure that everything that we're considering discussing appears on the agenda in advance. Next up, I, as the manager, and my colleague department heads are going to need to make sure that all board action items, such as purchases of vehicles or hiring of consultants for certain projects, appear on the agenda under new business or old business and not under the reports section, so that anyone reading at home would have an idea that we were considering spending money on a project. I know I am guilty of putting action items in my own report, most recently in June when I asked board's permission to make application for the Rescue Plan Act grant funding. The township is not currently posting committee and commission agendas in advance of public meetings. For consistency and ease of administration, staff will be advising all chairpersons that agendas for posting must be made available to the secretary by 3 p.m. on the Friday before a meeting the week before. And lastly, to avoid confusion, staff will no longer be referring to the first regular meeting of each month that the board hosts as a work session, because while we have been completely compliant with the Sunshine Act regulations pertaining to that first meeting, the particular language they use, i.e. the word work session in the Sunshine Law, refers to a meeting that is not subject to the Sunshine Law. So for just to get our semantics in order, I'm no longer going to be referring to that as the work session. So that is a change that takes effect on the 29th, and I wanted to bring that to your attention. The second thing, while
Before you go to the second thing,
Yeah.
just one question, just a clarification. On the agenda being posted online at the close of business at the end of the day, Monday, before the Thursday meeting, can items still be put on the agenda on Tuesday or Wednesday?
I would prefer that not be practice, but yes, the way that the revision is that the agenda needs to be published 24 hours in advance.
Okay.
So the literal legal drop dead date to add things would be 24 hours for the meeting, which would be 8 a.m. on Wednesday for the first meeting, or 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday for the second meeting.
Okay.
But I don't know that we want to play it that
No,
close.
no, but I just wondered if you had a last-minute agenda item, if you could put it on. Okay.
Right. And then the second thing I'd like to actually verbally, a part of my report, I'd like to read aloud. It pertains to the 2022 Comprehensive Plan update. As of this week, we are mailing surveys for the comp plan update to every home in the township. And there are two ways to respond to this survey. You can either complete the paper version that's mailed to your home, stick it in the number 9 self-addressed stamped envelope, and return it, or you can go to ebrandywine.org/comp plan to complete the survey in an electronic format. The survey is very important to understand resident preferences in regard to land use, community services, roads, park facilities, recreation programs, natural and historic resources, and community character, which we use to make the update to our comprehensive plan. So thank you for allowing me to read that into the record.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. Okay. Builders, inspectors, township roadmasters report, and police chief is not here. Those three, there will be nobody commenting on. Can I
just wanted to comment for the chief, the
Okay.
COVID update, the police department is at normal operations. The lobby is open to persons who need access to the drug drop-off box, police department and township offices. We ask that all persons entering the building check the temperatures at the kiosk.
Okay. Make a motion to approve those three reports.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fire company, would you like to talk, Joe?
I would.
Okay.
Good evening. East Brandywine Fire Company report for the month of June. We had 68 total incidents. We had 35 fire calls, 33 medical calls. In East Brandywine Township, we had 14 fire calls, 18 medical calls. We had a total personnel of responding 11.7 per call. And George, just to your attention, you had sent me how volunteerism was down. This is a phenomenal number for the area at 11.7.
Yep.
Some folks are struggling 3 and 4, so we're doing quite well. We're pretty happy with that. We used 215 gallons of East Brandywine fuel, and we had a training session with 27 members in attendance. The only thing I wanted to bring to the attention of the supervisors is, of course, the demolition and renovation is ongoing, and we wanted to see if there's a time that we could get at least two, maybe 3 of you to come down so we give you a quick tour of an update as to what's going on. An early Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock, 6:30 would be good.
I'm fine anytime.
Yep,
So,
anytime I am as well.
I'll give you guys an email, see if we can coordinate something
Okay.
pretty soon.
Are you guys, how's deadline? I mean, are you on target now? How's it progressing?
Every week it's pushed back.
Okay,
So we're into February already. We were December 1st, now we're in February.
okay.
So,
Typical.
yeah.
Thank you, Joe. I'll make a motion to accept Joe's fire company report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Old business, there is none. New business, Luke?
Yeah, so this is agenda item 7A. The second-class township code, section 606C1, states in part that supervisors, sorry, gotta move the camera again to get me in the shot. There we go. Supervisors, whether or not they are employed by the township and their dependents, are eligible for inclusion in group life, health, hospitalization, and medical service and accident insurance plans paid in whole or in part by the township. Supervisors and their dependents who are over 65 years of age are eligible for inclusion in the supplemental Medicare insurance coverage paid whole or in part by the township. Their inclusion in those plans does not require auditor approval, but does require submission of a letter requesting participation at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Supervisors before commencing participation. This evening, we have an agenda item, and the agenda item is that staff is notifying the board that we have received a request from Supervisor Sherbach to participate in the health reimbursement account. And that is the end of that agenda item. It is it's a notice, not a, it's just,
Not a voting
exactly.
issue. Okay. We already covered sub 7B. There's no subdivision or zoning application. There is no ordinances or resolutions for consideration. On the public comment now is open for non-agenda items, with the first one being Hopewell Road. Somebody here from Hopewell Road, resident update? Would you like to approach the podium? Time is yours.
Starting from the beginning as a roll-up, we were here at the last meeting on the 17th of June. We expressed our concerns. And you had advised us to contact the Conservational District, and when we did, they really came back. We talked to numerous people. They came back saying unless you're wanting to file a monetary suit, they couldn't do anything. So we found that to be a dead end. On the 22nd, we composed a letter and sent it to everybody with our concerns and an update of what was going on. No response. On the 23rd, Patty and Todd had sent a letter to the township expressing huge concerns about the odor. Their backyard is a swamp. It was forwarded. Jason, I think, forwarded it to Luke, expressing ASAP. No response. I contacted Lisa to add ourselves to the agenda, and at that point, we received an inspection report showing that there were some failures on what they were doing. So, one, we just want to know what and when is going to be done. I mean, poor Todd and Patty have it the worst. They can't even sit in their backyard because of the stench. They can't walk on their grass because it's just a swamp area. So we want an update on what is being done, when is it being done. We also are still concerned about the environment. There was a gentleman that was with us last week. His name is Graham. He's our neighbor. He expressed huge concerns about the environment and with the runoff. And finally, we just want to know if nothing's being done, who do we submit our estimates to get our property fixed?
So, real quick, let me just back up. So that would be your monetary value that you were talking about, the county said, unless you were suing for a monetary value.
We want to work with you guys first. We want to figure
No,
out.
I understand, but the county's gonna trump us all day, every day. So that's why, the fact that they're turning a blind eye saying, unless you're suing for monetary value, we don't do anything.
Then we'll take that route to file our estimates.
Because I think that's a cop-out, to be honest with you, because
Okay.
they've never taken that approach before. I've gotten letters.
I only called them just to get an environmental update, because we're concerned about the sewer runoff. We're concerned about the environment. So that was the reason why we had contacted them for the environment. But we just want to know nobody's reaching out to us. You all have our emails. You have our contact information. Lisa was the only one that forwarded information, and it was an inspection report. We just want to know what is being done.
And if you'll excuse me, and I can back up for a second on this monetary thing. The builder should be responsible for the damages he caused.
Right.
Why would I go to Chester County
Right.
Because they
to
enact
sue?
fine.
And you guys can do nothing? You guys approved their building up there. You guys approved it. It was East Brandywine. Said, okay, yeah, you can build this development. So who do we go to? Chester County? They're gonna drag their feet. And these builders are gonna be going in a year and we'll never see them.
They have escrow monies, and I'll leave this to Luke, because Luke would know more on this topic than I would, but,
Let's,
Well, let
I
me
think
just-
there's a couple issues here that
Well,
we
yeah,
need.
well, let me give you one update. I happened to go to the municipal sewer authority meeting the other day, because basically, they're gonna be the ones that are gonna try to determine where all this is coming from. So we have passed your complaints over to them, and they had them on their agenda item. That was discussed at the meeting, which was Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. Basically, they would like, they talked about a lot of different things. Could it be fuel, because there is some fuel odors too, right, apparently? or
No, it's sewer
It's all
gas.
sewer gas.
No fuel
Sewer and
odors,
water
okay.
are the two issues.
Yeah, they're just, when you know what date and what time, that will help the operator
We-
determine whether
We
the
need to
reports-
identify the date and time? We need to let them know of a date and time?
Yeah, if you could just record, that's what they're looking for.
These are the letters
date
we've
and
sent
the
you.
time. And that has the date and the time?
Well, it has a date.
Okay. They're just trying to narrow what's going on, because they got, whether the reports of sewer or fuel orders coincide with sludge hauling, fueling the generators, or any activity at the plant.
Well, on the
They do want to try to get an idea of exactly what could be happening.
Well, on the 23rd, Patty and Todd sent all of you concerns about their backyard, and Jason forwarded it to Luke, saying, we need to get this done ASAP.
There was sludge hauling on the 22nd. There was sludge hauling on the 16th.
Probably what it was.
And on the 22nd.
So I guess the ultimate,
Working with the operator to try to hone in what exactly this could be in terms of the odors.
okay, so then I guess the other question is, what is being done to fix it? Like, what are they doing to their construction site to stop it from happening?
Are you insinuating that she's just getting the smell while they're pumping up there and then it's gone?
No, I'm not insinuating
I just-
anything.
I
The
just
municipal
wondered where we were
authority
going.
has all the complaints, okay? They're the ones that should determine, try to get an idea where it's coming from. They discussed it thoroughly. They had the operators in the meeting, and they were talking about it through. And all I guess they asked, I guess Jen put together an email, their secretary, and just said, as complaints come in, if there's a way residents could identify the date and the time that occurs, so they can kind of look and see.
Almost
Well, I think it's,
Yeah.
it's every day.
Yeah,
Every
it's-
day.
It's all the time,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the other,
Afternoon, evening,
It can be any time. It can be midnight, it can be 3 in the afternoon, it could be
so it's
dinner
every
time.
day.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Who is the
severe.
operator?
I guess the other question I have is, what is the builder?
The winners was
Winners,
asking a
yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Jason.
I'm sorry, who is the operator of this plant? I know it's not in full operation yet, but who is actually the operator that they awarded the contract to? Is it the same as Applecross or Keats Glen?
So the initial phases of the operation of the plant, it was owned by Metropolitan Development Group, and they were using the operator, which is EMA? EEMA. And the operator has stayed the same, but the plant is now owned by the township's municipal authority.
Okay, so then it's the municipal authorities, that they needed to, were they trying to determine the time of the day just to find out, which process the treatment was in, to see what the
That's
where the smell's
exactly-
coming from?
That's exactly it. So it's a sequential batch reactor, which means that rather than all processes going on at the same time, the complete treatment process goes on in the same place over a period of time. So, the answer to the question, when is the smell occurring, would help diagnose what process was going on at that time that could be either rescheduled or troubleshooted for inappropriate smell. It's not, a lot of wastewater treatment plants will have every single process in parallel. The drop of water, goes to the first where it's aerated, and then it goes through an anaerobic state, and then it settles, and then it discharges. In this case, the full process occurs sequentially, not linearly. I think I'm saying that right.
Has there been any citations issued by the DEP?
Not that I'm aware of.
Would those citations be issued to the township since you're the,
It would be the municipal authority, yes.
Right to the municipal authority.
so,
It'd be if there was if there was an overflow in a clean out or extreme odors or any misoperation or mishap or accident, or it's a mandatory reporting that the operator needs to submit to the DEP. And that's what I'm wondering, if there has been any of these, voluntarily issued, or, if where we're at with that process. Because that's something that's probably going to be the next step if we can't get this situated, because as unfortunate as the basin's failing for the same folks on the same road, it's, in my opinion, more unfortunate that someone cannot utilize their backyard for enjoyment because of smells. Applecross, there's homes across the street and around it, and they're not getting the smells from anything. It's the same process. So something really needs to get done here as far as.
Right, so the question I have, Jason, is that Basin 1 was compromised on the June 8th storm, and we still don't know what was done to fix it. We know that there was a inspection, that they were in violation of a silk fence, but we just don't know what was done to fix it. And then the other question I have is there a number that you can give us when Todd is experiencing this odor that he can call and say, okay, today at 3 o'clock it smells?
Yeah, I think we should give them Hydroterra's phone number, the engineer, the sewer authority's engineer.
What's his name?
Joe Boldez from Hydroterra. He's the municipal authority's engineer, and he's going to be the one who will be whatever complaints are going to be received by the municipal authority from the township or from a resident is going to first go onto Joe's desk to figure out what the next step is, as far as mitigation.
I was just gonna add, his office is in Downingtown, his residence is in Downingtown, so it's not like he's.
Yeah, it's right up street. It's right up the street.
Here.
Yeah. So,
He's local, yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have his number?
I would assume.
Yeah,
it would have
hold
to
on.
go through his
And
office.
Jason, while you're looking that up, I guess the other question I have is the builder being held accountable? Is anybody gone to the builder to say, this is an issue, they're responsible to fix it? Has there any been communication? In fact, I think there was some on June 18th. It was supposed to be Matt McAloon and Andrew DeFonso were supposed to meet and overlook the situation.
The damages to the properties.
Well, I don't know.
all right?
So Matt McAloon is with the Pannoni Associates, the
Right.
township's engineer. So he's working with the county, and they pretty much work neck and neck anyway,
And
so
who's Andrew DeFonso?
he's with the county.
Okay.
So those are the two that would be, for any development, for the most part, our engineer and the county. And they kind of,
They're working with the builder?
they would go to the builder with any, so if you were the builder of a property and you were getting complaints, it would first go to the county would then involve our engineer, and then they would go to the builder with a written, some type of a complaint. That's why I'm shocked, because I've received on my own property for silt runoff. So
So they met on the 18th. What was the result of that meeting? Did they go to the builder, or did they?
that I don't know.
Yeah, we have no paperwork or comment on what they did.
the builder was notified. The builder has to come up with a schedule, and as far as he has to come out and say, he has to get his actual mitigation plan approved from the county, and as well as from the county, and he has to come up with a schedule and a plan of action that's acceptable to them, based on the availability of materials, based on the subcontractor schedules and whatnot. I believe that's in the process right now, or should be.
So Jason, then we
that
reach
we're
out
waiting
to
on
Andrew.
on that.
So do we reach out to Andrew and Matt to find out what the next steps are with the builder, or you as a township should be following up with them?
I think the township should be following up
And
on that behalf.
And who is responsible for the damage to our properties? The builder, the township, the county, who?
And that would be that's the monetary.
That's the
right.
conservationist?
Correct.
Okay.
And they're no joke. I don't want you guys thinking that they
Just
just,
getting a run
I
around.
mean, when their letter comes, it scares you to death.
Okay. Yeah, we'll follow whatever we feel. I mean, we're getting estimates now on our property damage. I'm sure everybody else is as well. My concern is with, obviously, Pat and Toddy, because it's, Patty and Todd, because they can't even enjoy their backyard, and it's not fair to them.
No, agreed.
So Joe
The silt-
Baldees,
The silt fence is being repaired tomorrow. is what I'm just being told. And the one basin on the bend is going through the redesign process right now with the county.
Is that basin one?
Yes, that failed on June 6th, I believe, or is it 6/18? I'm
June
sorry.
6th, that thing's been failed for over a year.
Well, it has been failed, but it was,
I
that's
need
correct.
to
You are
tell you
correct.
guys
But
something
it
for a couple
wasn't
minutes.
known until then.
So that's being redesigned?
It was that the one. I think it was the one. The one thing was like completely. The one drain was completely clogged, submerged. And no one knew about it
Well,
until
we sent.
you guys had provided.
Yeah,
the
we sent
complaints,
pictures
from
in
the heavy rain
Yeah.
a month ago.
Well, it was June 8th was the rain, and on the 22nd, we sent the
Yeah.
letter. And in our investigation, I guess it was Basin 1, the lid was completely off, and there was sewer running down the hills into the yards.
In our
So,
wells.
yeah, and we have
With
wells.
the stormwater without this.
It doesn't have to be a big storm
Correct.
either.
That's
No, it's way undersized. and not-
Yeah, I
No,
mean, it's
it
to the
doesn't.
point now where anytime there's any bit of rain or thunderstorm coming
Yeah,
in, our neighbor, we
there's
panic.
nothing up there. The leaves are going and everything. It rains for 10 minutes, there's silt in our backyards.
Yeah.
My woods is devastated.
And
I
on
got
the road.
a 5, 6, 8 wheelbarrows of silt in my yard, on my driveway. I was shoveling off the road the first time. It was ridiculous. I called, I talked to your building inspector this week, Jeff
Catlin.
Cantlin? And
Yes.
I asked him 3 questions. I said, can I fill a hole with 25 feet of dirt and build a house on it? He said, absolutely not. I said, if I'm building an addition, I'm a builder in the area. If I'm building an addition, my silt fence breaks down, the neighbor calls you, what's the next course of action? He says, you'll either fix it that day or the day before any work commences. I said, good. I said, is a silt fence temporary? He says, a silt fence is absolutely temporary. I said, well, mine's been down for over a year. 40, 60 feet of it is gone.
Yep.
The first month they put it up, it stayed, and then some idiot came down and dumped some mulch on it, and it started funneling through there. So this has been going on for a long time. My woods is decimated. There's not even a leaf up there. Soon as it rains, that silt pile, 25 feet of dirt they poured in a hole they built 8 houses on. 25 feet of dirt they dumped in a hole and built houses on. I asked Jeff if I could do that. He said, absolutely not. That stuff they built those houses on are in our yards, down our driveways, and in the road with a
And in the
15-minute
Brandywine.
rain. It's
And in the Brandywine.
ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, this is dire.
It's ridiculous. I couldn't get away with it. I've been here for 40-some years. I got to fix it the next day. Why doesn't somebody that comes from out of state, throws all kind of money at you guys, get away with this crap and just walk away and not have to fix it the next day like I would as a builder in this township? I got to fix it that day or the next day. This has been going on for over a year, and that thing has not been touched.
So again,
Something's wrong with that.
so Matt and Andrew were the people that met, and then they're discussing with the builders. So what is our recourse there? What do we do?
Jason?
I'm sorry. I was actually writing something down really quick. What you're saying.
My
what
question
should you do?
is, we have all these concerns, not following code, things are not getting fixed in time. Who do we go to? Is it Matt and Andrew, or?
If I may chime in, yes, Matt and Andrew are the best contacts for the erosion and sedimentation control issues. So when we're talking about the features of the site that are for managing stormwater, yes. And they have done an inspection. And as I understood, did Matt McAloon of Pannoni, did he visit your homes?
He visited me right after our complaint, after the heavy.
Is that the young kid?
Yes.
Yeah, Tammy said he was wandering around in the woods like he couldn't find his diaper. He didn't know what he was looking at.
Well, that report, that visit did result in findings, things that needed to be fixed, which have been conveyed to the developer. As it stands now, I understand they're doing work tomorrow.
And again, why aren't, I mean, you have our contact information. Why isn't any of this being communicated to us?
So the county's then, they're gonna send it directly to the builder. We might get a copy later on, but it's not gonna be right off the bat. So we might be a week down the line here.
Okay, so I guess what I'm looking for now is Matt, Andrew, and now Joe Valdez's phone number, so we can follow up with them.
Joe
I-
Boldez is the 610-942-3000.
And he is with this, like, he would be the one I contact for the sewer issues?
He's hydrogen.
Correct. He's Hydroterra Professionals. He's the sewer engineer, municipal engineer. He's located right there on 322, up towards 82 and
Okay.
322, that section on the right there.
And then
If
Matt,
you give them a call, and they open 8 a.m., you give them a call and explain who you are. He'll know who you are.
okay, and then Matt and Andrew, we go to them for the continuous problems that the builders need to address. Does anybody have their phone numbers?
Do they not on the email correspondence that you, I don't have a direct line.
Well, what
for
is
Matt
the
McClellan.
company that Matt works for? I'll take that route.
It is Pennoni. They're based out of Westchester.
Can you spell that, please?
Pennoni.
Pennoni, and then who is Andrew with?
He's with the county.
He's with the Chester County Soil and Water Conservation District.
Okay,
So they're coming in to work on the silt fences tomorrow.
That is,
Correct.
I understand
Okay.
that what the developer has represented to
so we'll
the
take a
judge.
walk up.
We just got done this conversation that silt fences are a temporary thing. They're only supposed to be there for a month or two. What's going on down the road to resolve this problem?
Well, first of all, silt fences are not supposed to be up there for a month or two. Silt
I-
fences could be up there for 6, 8 months. It could be, it has to be reinforced. It has super silt fence. It really depends, but careful with that, because that's not true. Silt fences could be there for a year or two if they're done properly.
All right, what's gonna happen after a year or two when it starts
Well,
happening again?
that's the thing.
Another silt fence? That's
I
just
agree.
No,
I agree.
no. What you guys are experiencing are the full stormwater design has not been fully utilized yet until all the basins are stabilized. Right now, you have bags that are essentially covering additional stormwater inlets to allow for the stormwater to be controlled, but those bags cannot be lifted and cleared off of those grates until the actual bases below and everything else is stabilized. So there's a kind of an order unfortunately, there's an order of procedure here, and it has nothing to do with the fail basin. It just has to do with the phasing of the project, as well as the fail basin, as well as a few things. So what you have experienced isn't the actual stormwater design as it is, other than the basin that has been compromised, basin 1. No one was aware of that being clogged until that, well, I'm assuming you guys had noticed the additional rainfall over time, but until that June 8th rainstorm was one that really brought all of you guys to the township building saying,
Well,
what's going on?
actually, last summer in August, it was just as bad or worse.
Yeah,
It moved my shed down the yard.
Ours too.
That's probably from that basin failing though, but that's something that,
It sounds
we
like
weren't
poor
made aware
planning
until
to
that
me.
time.
This stuff should have been under control before they threw a foundation in.
Well, I'm sure it's been
Should have
compacted.
been done. Now it's like, screw the neighbors while we get this done at our leisure. And we got to deal with it because of poor planning. Now, these guys come in from out of state, they don't care about this place. They don't care that we can't get out of our driveways in the morning because they put 300,000 people in our backyard. They don't care about that. They come in, make their money, throw a bunch of money into the township, and they're gone. That's our problem. We're stuck with it. You know, we've been here 40 years, 60 years, 25 years, and we got to deal with this crap just because somebody had to throw a bunch of houses in a hole? That's ridiculous. That's just, shouldn't have never made it through here.
The other question I have about the sewer is the township municipality, they're the ones that go in and empty out the drains, or they do whatever they need to do to empty out the tanks. And Jason had said that they didn't realize that the one was clogged. There are trucks, 2 or 3 trucks every day, a couple times a day, going in. pumping the sewer out, so how could they not know?
I thought he was referring.
No, I
to
mean,
these-
I wasn't talking about sewage. I was talking about the actual stormwater grate
Okay.
that was
Okay.
clogged, leading the basin number one.
Okay,
As far as the pumping hole, once you start pumping that out, you're going to disturb everything and it's going to smell. But there's still mitigation procedures for that to make it so it doesn't affect you or shouldn't affect you, because it happened at Applecross during that construction. That project was, I think, what's still not completed, and it's been in the works for 10 years.
well, that brings
So
up a good point. Is
still,
there-
you shouldn't have to smell it.
That brings up a good point, Justin. Is there a completion date on this project? Do they know when they're going to be done their construction and on their way?
I believe it's the last phase right now.
Yeah,
But I understand they're bidding on the last homes, now. I don't think there's any that are actually not sold.
Okay. So I guess the follow-up is that we will contact Matt at Pannoni to get an update on what they've done with the builders. We will contact Joe Beldiz when Todd or Patty are experiencing odor, so he can expect a bunch of phone calls. We would like to be added to next month's agenda, so we can come back and get a follow-up with what's been going on.
Do you want to do the 2-week agenda, like the morning meeting, or do you want to go for the
I
you know,
work,
the
I
third?
can't, I can't attend a morning meeting, so if we could do this meeting next month.
Right.
And is there another meeting we should be attending
Yeah, I was
pertaining?
going to offer you the opportunity. The municipal authority meets, I think it's the second Tuesday of every month, and it's at 8 a.m. They go from 8 o'clock. But at that meeting, you've got the board that governs the municipal authority. You got Joe Boldez, who's there at the meeting, and the last meeting I was at, several of the operators who operate the plants.
Where does
They
that
were
meet?
there.
Here?
Right here.
Right here?
So, yeah, it's a
Well-
public meeting. Like I said, when I attended yesterday, they said to me, boy, you're the first guest we've had in a long time, so.
So could we
public
have
meeting.
someone from the board here to attend? We work, I
So the
can't.
sewer authority, just so you guys are clear, it is a separate entity from us, the township.
Right.
They have their own attorney, they pay their own bills, they're separate. But
Okay.
obviously, we're communicating with them issues, and
I'll go to the next meeting.
Thanks, Jason.
And then if you could copy me on your correspondence with Matt and with Hydroterra, or copy the board, supervisors@eastbrandywine.org, so we all three of us get the email.
I
that
have,
would-
you- I've sent you emails before, Jason. I'll copy you on.
and just.
That's why
another
make sure you
thought-
continue, that's all.
Just another thought, I would start with the paper trail of emails first before voicemails. It's always easier to go back and say, I emailed you here. No, for your contacts to Matt
Yes.
McAloon and to Hydroterra.
Well,
Start
what I
that-
do in my business is I speak to you and then I follow up with an email. So there's
And that's
both.
fine. I just think it's better because there's so many people involved in this situation, the county, the state, the township, Hydroterra,
Yeah.
engineers. It's just easier if it's on paper.
Okay. So I want to close by thanking you for hearing us, helping us try to resolve this.
Thank you for coming back and following up with us.
And Lisa, if you can add.
That's all we can do.
Don't be the last you hear.
Again, thank you for hearing us out.
May I, just before you leave us, can we get everybody's name and address for the minutes?
You have that from last meeting.
We do, but,
All four? Okay,
This is
so
good
you
practice,
have
each
an address.
meeting, though. to have
Loretta
them.
Herring,
okay,
Peter Herring,
very
Peter
good.
Herring, Loretta Herring.
Frank Oliva,
Yep.
and Todd.
Yep.
Right. Oh, you got,
I'm
you're
good.
good, Lisa.
You're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And,
you.
And I, you did direct a particular point at me, and I do want to respond. I'm new to this business, but my general preference is that I don't insert myself in direct communication. So I want you to understand, I take ownership for non-responsiveness. I don't, please understand, I'm not trying to talk that away. But it is my preference that you would have a direct relationship with the consultant who can then speak to the.
So we have the names on who we need to follow up on.
Right. So I want to explain that again. I take ownership for my own lack of response to you, the residents. But understand,
You guys have
my
full-time
preference
jobs, and
is
this
for the,
it's
for the
just-
relationship to be direct.
Yeah, no, I understand. You guys have full-time jobs. I know that this is volunteer. My husband and I used to do this in Downingtown, so I appreciate your service, I really do.
Thank
I apologize if we got heated.
Not at all.
But we are just at our wits' end. Like I said, when it starts to rain, I worry what Pat and Todd are going through. I worry what's coming down Frank's yard, because it eventually comes into our yard,
And
so.
I'm worried about my shit going down the Hopewell Road.
And his problem is not just a stink problem. It doesn't rain for 14 days, and you walk in his backyard,
It's
and
still
you're
a swamp.
over the edge of your sneakers with water. It's a problem.
Still a swamp.
Like, what was it, like 6 weeks ago, the news was saying now where the county's pretty much in a drought or whatever. I had standing water then, so I am gonna fight this, and I have to have that water taken out. I'm starting to get pretty pissed off.
Yeah. So we'll follow up with who we need to follow up, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment on non-agenda items? If there are none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.